What's happening, YouTube? As you can see, we're going to talk right now today about the number one mistake that you're going to make starting a new business. All right, let's get into it. So, in the last episode, I talked about like how I had gotten into auto glass, um, starting up a business. I worked for a company for a while. I got comfortable in doing it. And you know what? I was thinking to myself, hey, I'm making the company all this money. I'm going to do it myself so I can make even more money. Well, the number one mistake I would say that I made is literally not really knowing how much money you really need to have, when it comes to starting a business. See, a lot of books and people will tell you you need to have 6 months, right, saved up for the business to get going, and you got to be able to pay your bills and all these things. That is the furthest from the truth. It is so not even feasible in most businesses. All right, there is no such thing as 6 months you're just cleaning house. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a few out there that you can, like if it's just in your area, there's just a major need for it. You've already set yourself up, so you're going to hit the ground running. But again, see what you did is you probably had already, I would say, some companies lined up or work lined up where you were gonna, be able to actually survive. You know what I mean? But if you don't have those things and you only have 6 months saved up, ain't happening. You have a huge chance of not surviving. So if you do your business plan right, you find out what you're gonna do. You're gonna look at your competitors. You're gonna look at what you're gonna do to gain business, right? Advertising, that's probably the biggest deal right now. I mean, if you aren't gonna have a following on YouTube or one of the social media platforms already, it's gonna be hard for you to get leads, or get jobs basically. So you might have to do, I don't know, mailers, right? Knock door to door, businesses, residential. It depends. Which is, by the way, a great thing to do. Most people don't want to do it. It's tough. You get told no a lot. They look at you like a piece of garbage and things like that. But that comes with it. Don't worry about what those idiots think. You're doing what you have to do to survive. It only matters to you. Like if you're not out there grinding and doing what you have to do to get work, well, you're going to fail. Period. You're going to fail. So when I got into the glass business, right, one of the things that was happening at that time, this is a long time ago, probably still doing it in certain areas, is there were certain shops out there that, whether they had installers or they didn't have installers, they would just subcontract work out to you, right? So I had that set up. And actually, one of the things why I even got into it, doing this, is I spoke with another person that was an independent contractor, had his own business. He goes, "Hey, you're such a great installer. You should start your own thing, and we'll send you work and stuff like that." Now, remember, so people can promise you the world, doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? They can change their mind in a week. If you don't have the money saved up, you are up. Man, you are just in big trouble. What we call it, like up a creek without a paddle. Oh yeah, you're screwed. But what I did to be successful at this business is I did have multiple companies that I signed on with. I had to negotiate prices on what I was going to charge to actually get paid to do their installs. Some people want to pay you nothing, and have you promise the world. You got to chill with that. You're going to be excited to get the work. Make sure you're getting what you are owed and what you need, right? Because just like anything, money coming in is fine and dandy, but what are you going to do about the expenses? What are you going to do about, when things don't work out? You have to go back and fix something or something like that. You got to get paid, or at least make sure that you're making enough money to where it's going to, compensate and keep you afloat when you have those deals that you're going to lose money on. Being in business, you're not always making money. You're going to lose money on some jobs. This is how it is, right? And if you're not putting that into your business plan, you're messing up, and it's a huge mistake, because again, this goes back to where you just don't understand how much money you really need. So, advertising budget, your own bills, what are your liabilities? What do you have to pay? Are you single? Do you have wife and kids, a mortgage? Like, assess all that. I recommend 2 years, right? 2 years. 2 years, I would say, is like the minimum. in my opinion, on what you need to have for your own money, not the business, what you need to have so for you to pay your bills while you're growing this business. The last thing that you want to do is be worrying about how you're going to make money from one week to the next, because the problem with that is you get emotional on it. Like you might do things that you wouldn't normally do because you need to make that money, and it really just messes everything up. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, there's so many different businesses out there. Make sure that you're an expert at it too. Be an expert. I got a kid right now. He's 19. You know, he finished school and everything, and he's working. Really, is becoming. I told him it was a good idea just to get some sort of a trade, right? Because there's a lot of businesses out there that can really, especially now going forward, you're going to lose your job to AI and things like that. Well, I told him, I'm like, you know what? Get a trade. Me, I was a mechanic. I can always fall back on that no matter what. I'm a great mechanic, right? I got glass, window tinting. I have a lot of things that I've done, and maybe we'll get into that, one day, I'm sure. But become an expert at whatever you're going to do. Be an expert first. All right. Don't be walking before you crawl. You need to crawl before you walk. Learn, work your way up, become an expert at it, then go out and do your own business. Right? If you don't want to go that route, fine. What are you good at? Maybe you're good at running a business or finding, being able to connect people to do other jobs. You could be a middle person. There's a lot of things that you could do. But the thing that I can't stress enough is make sure you have a plan. 2 years, 2 years of money to pay your bills. 2 years, nothing's guaranteed. And when you put that budget together for advertising and how you're going to get business, you better multiply that by 3. Whatever you figure out. I don't. If you need to look at newspapers, you got to do a website, right? You probably need to have a website. That's a plus, right? You're going to be doing Facebook ads, whatever, any kind of ads. You need to find out how much it's going to be. You have Google AdWords, things like that. It's pricey. It's pricey, and it's probably not going to be. It's not going to perform the way you want, right? It takes time, right? So you're going to be spending a lot of money. So make sure you have that budget, right? So number one, 2 years, right, of money to pay for your own bills. Number two, have probably 2 backups, right? So find out the work that you're going to be doing, get connections in that work so that you have someone feeding you work. If you're a subcontractor, have that bread and butter coming in, that guaranteed money, right? That you're doing your own thing. And then, yes, you're going to get your own jobs. They're going to pay the big bucks, right? When I did glass, I had these companies that subcontract work for me. I was making $75 a pop, right? I can do a window average 15 minutes, sometimes 45, but give yourself 45 minutes. And basically, sometimes I would sell that insurance job, but now I just made $200, $300, right? Those are those perks, about having your own business. But have that bread and butter first, all right? Hope this helps some of you guys. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks for stopping by.